Hey, what is up, everyone? If you've ever stared at your phone, endlessly swiping on a dating app, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, pick your poison, and felt that slow, crushing realization that you are just not getting the results you want, then you need to stick around. I'm talking to the guys and girls who are following all the rules. Great photos, a witty bio, you're putting in the work. But the matches are few and far between, or they're totally silent. We are pulling back the curtain today, and I'm going to walk you through the 4 uncomfortable truths about the world of online dating. This isn't about insulting dating apps or the people who use them. It's about giving you a strategic advantage by understanding the platform itself. Because, honestly, the deck is stacked against you. The entire system is built to create a specific kind of experience, and once you understand that framework, you can stop taking the lack of success personally and start beating the system. We're covering the pay-to-play business model, the undeniable role of physical appearance, the crushing gender imbalance, and why having too many options is actually making you miserable. Let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right into problem number 1. Here's the thing about every major social media app, and dating apps are no exception. They are not designed to connect you with the love of your life. They are designed to maximize engagement and profit. They are digital casinos draped in the language of romance. And to do that, they have to keep you coming back, spending time, and most importantly, spending money. For the average man in particular, getting matches is hard. This is by design. If you had a steady stream of high-quality matches right out of the gate, you would solve your problem and delete the app. And the app developers absolutely cannot have that. Instead, they create a scarcity problem. They throttle your profile's visibility. They make it feel like you're shouting into a void. And then they swoop in with the solution: a premium subscription. This is where the whole thing turns into a full-blown pay-to-win business model. You drop cash, whether it's for Tinder Gold, a profile boost, or whatever their newest gimmick is, and suddenly, things change. Your profile visibility skyrockets. You get more swipes. You see a momentary, wonderful surge in matches. Think about the psychological impact of that. You go from feeling ignored and frustrated, the basic experience, to feeling successful and validated, the paid experience. That initial success, that burst of dopamine when you see "it's a match" screen after paying, hooks you. It makes it incredibly difficult to go back to the basic free version where the engagement suddenly dries up again. You're essentially encouraged, no, pressured, to keep that premium subscription rolling, just to maintain the baseline level of feel-good chemicals the app introduced you to. But why is this cycle so incredibly, powerfully addictive? It all boils down to a fundamental psychological concept that runs the entire digital world: intermittent reinforcement. If you got a match every time you swiped right, you'd quickly get bored. The consistency would make the reward meaningless. But intermittent reinforcement suggests that when rewards are handed out unpredictably rather than consistently, we are far more likely to repeat the behavior in the desperate hope of that next win. Matches are the sought-after reward here. The app gives you just enough matches, just often enough, at just the right random moments to keep you anticipating and keep you swiping. It's the exact same dark magic that makes gambling so highly addictive. You don't win every time, but the hope of the next jackpot, the hope of that next perfect match, keeps you locked into that cycle of anticipation and activity. The desire to find an ideal partner is an unbelievably strong primal motivation on its own. But when you couple that powerful, core human need with the addictive mechanism of intermittent reinforcement, you create a monster of an app that is designed to consume your time, money, and emotional energy. The house always wins. And in this game, you are the product and the player. We'll get into how this reality affects who gets seen in problem number 2. But first, let that sink in. All right, so we've established that the apps are rigged to keep you swiping. But let's talk about who is actually succeeding on these platforms. This brings us to problem number 2, the uncomfortable truth that dating apps place an extreme, almost singular overemphasis on physical appearance. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. In the broader, real-world context of dating, attraction is deep, it's complex, and it's fueled by 1,000 different things: personality, wit, confidence, shared values, and yes, physical looks. But when you move that process to a dating app, it is fundamentally flattened. Your entire profile is reduced to a few photos and a bio that gets maybe 3 seconds of attention. You simply cannot assess someone's complex personality by looking at a set of highly curated, two-dimensional images. This reality disproportionately favors those who are already perceived as physically attractive. Now, it's generally true that women don't care about looks as much as men do, but all things being equal, they will still choose the more physically attractive partner. Take height, for example. Across many cultures and age groups, it's still viewed as a highly attractive trait in men. It's a box people want to tick. Why does this effect become so amplified on the apps? It largely comes down to something called the halo effect. The halo effect is a psychological bias where we ascribe positive character traits to a person based on a single, prominent trait, like good looks. Think about it. When you see someone attractive, your brain automatically fills in the blanks, often viewing them as more kind, more confident, more competent, or more intelligent, even though those qualities have absolutely nothing to do with their facial symmetry or physique. Here's the scary part about the halo effect on dating apps. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If people automatically assume you have these positive qualities just because you look good, you are often given more chances, more opportunities to succeed, and you unconsciously begin to live up to those positive assumptions. It creates a feedback loop where attractive people get more dates, feel more confident, and therefore become more attractive, while the average person struggles. Now, before we jump into the next challenge you face, the brutal reality of math, let's talk about something you can do right now to enhance your value, captivate a future date, and literally expand your options in the real world. That is, mastering a new language. This is a game changer, and it leads us directly to our sponsor for today, Mondly. Since 2014, Mondly has emerged as a preferred app for language learning, standing out with innovative features like real-time conversations with a chatbot. This unique function offers crucial pronunciation feedback, setting it apart from other applications. Mondly focuses on practicality, teaching you conversational language skills that are vital for real-world situations, like prepping for an upcoming journey, smoothly ordering food, or simply being able to strike up a conversation with someone who speaks another language. The daily lessons are delivered by native speakers, ensuring your pronunciation is spot on. And for those who are always busy, the hands-free mode is perfect for multitasking. You can be cooking or walking while learning a new language. For a significant discount on a lifetime membership to Mondly, visit mondly.app/improvedpill and enjoy savings of up to 96%. That's a powerful investment in yourself. Okay, let's get back to the app struggle and dive into problem number 3. The harsh reality of the gender imbalance on dating apps. The main reason men struggle so much to get matches has nothing to do with their profile or their looks, and everything to do with simple, brutal mathematics. There are significantly more men using dating apps than women. This means that it is exponentially harder for the average guy to get a match. Look at the numbers on a platform like Tinder. It can be as high as 75% male users and only 25% female users. This disproportionate ratio, 3 guys for every 1 woman, creates a massive, platform-wide power shift. Here's how the imbalance changes behavior. Male users. Since it's so hard to get a match, male users are incentivized to like more profiles. They cast a wide net, hoping to maximize their chances. They have to be less selective just to get a chance in the door. Female users. Women, on the other hand, get an abundance of matches. They often get absolutely flooded by messages from dozens, sometimes hundreds of men. This means they are forced to become incredibly, almost brutally selective. They simply ignore the vast majority of messages and profiles. When you combine this crushing gender imbalance with the overemphasis on physical appearance we just discussed, the result is clear. Men who are simply average-looking don't stand much of a chance. They get lost in a sea of competition, while women only have to swipe on the top fraction of profiles to still have more matches than they can handle. This structural reality is the primary reason why your efforts feel like they're hitting a wall. So, we've broken down how the app uses psychology, how looks are amplified, and how the gender math sinks your chances. But even if you do manage to get matches, you run straight into the final, mind-bending hurdle. Problem number 4, which is the fact that dating apps offer too many choices. And this abundance of choices may actually be doing more harm than good to your love life and your happiness. The whole premise of these apps is to give you access to a huge variety of potential partners. But here's the paradox. The more choices you have, the less likely you are to be content with the choice you eventually make. Let me give you a classic example. Imagine you walk into an ice cream shop, and there are 3 flavors to choose from: vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. You pick chocolate. You feel good about your decision, and you move on with your day. Easy. Now, imagine you walk into a different shop, and there are dozens of different flavors, plus 20 different toppings, sauces, and mix-ins. Suddenly, you have a massive problem. You want to get the best ice cream, right? But how can you possibly be sure that you've chosen the absolute peak option when there are so many others you haven't even tasted? You'll walk out, eat your ice cream, and a nagging little voice in your head will whisper, "What if the salted caramel pretzel bacon swirl would have been better?" This is what happens when you use dating apps. You have this endless conveyor belt of potential partners. The moment you start dating someone, you get that powerful feeling of, "I hope this is it," immediately followed by the fear of missing out, or FOMO. You think, with millions of people out there, is this really the best person for me? Maybe there's someone just one more swipe away who is objectively better. This mentality is a choice killer. It makes people unwilling to commit, unwilling to settle down, and unwilling to invest in the beautiful, messy process of getting to know one person deeply. You treat people like products in a catalog, always searching for the next upgrade. And that, frankly, is a recipe for perpetual dissatisfaction. If breaking down these 4 problems, the intermittent reinforcement, the physical halo effect, the crushing gender imbalance, and the anxiety of too many choices, makes you feel like the dating apps are a rigged game, well, that's because they are. Again, this video is not intended to disparage dating apps or the people who use them. They can certainly be useful tools for some, especially if you have a clear understanding of what you're up against. But if you do choose to use them, the most important thing you can do is to manage your expectations. You need to internalize this. Don't take it personally if you aren't getting matches. The odds aren't in your favor from the start. It's not a reflection of your worth, your personality, or your fundamental attractiveness. It's a reflection of the platform's design. You can still use the dating apps, but you should never, ever rely on them exclusively. They are, at best, a supplement to a real, intentional dating life. If your real goal is to genuinely improve your dating life, you are much, much better off getting out there and meeting people the old-fashioned way. This means moving your focus from the endless scrolling in your hand to the actual three-dimensional world around you. Here are your action items, your real-world strategy for dating success. Go out in the real world. Be visible. This is where your personality, your humor, your charisma, the things that get ignored by an algorithm, get to shine. Join clubs or groups. Find places that share your interests. This automatically puts you in a low-pressure environment with people who share your values. You've already got something to talk about. This is how you find your niche. Find the group that gets you. Hang out with friends. Use your existing social network. Meet the people your friends know. This is how most people historically and successfully meet their partners. Strike up conversations. Practice the art of talking to strangers. This is the single most important social skill you can develop. It's scary. It feels awkward. But every single person who is good at it started by being terrible at it. Get out of your comfort zone. Dating apps create artificial scarcity and artificial anxiety. Real life offers real connection. If you're having trouble with the last point, starting conversations and handling that initial anxiety, I highly recommend checking out the video popping up on your screen right now. Besides that, guys, focus on becoming a person you are proud of, and the rest will follow. Stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video.